the Thai authorities, since the history, we talk about different tensions and violence and conflicts in southern Thailand, in the deep south. But first of all, those Malay Muslim, they are majority in the three provinces, but in the same time minority in the country. Ethnically different because they are ethnic Malay, religiously different because they are Muslim. So it's not just Thai Muslim, but Malay Muslim, double difference. Now, when you are double difference and you are different from the rest of the country, you are not supposed to actually to remain different. The process of assimilation has been applied for years, especially since 1940s, 50s, 60s, until now. I think still the policy is still about not just about integration, but more assimilation. What do you mean by assimilation? Usually, it means that you are not expected to be different any longer. It means that you have to be assimilated in the mainstream society. What does it mean in terms of language? You are not expected to speak Malay, you are expected to speak Thai. Well, religiously, it's fine to be Muslim, because you have Muslim in other parts of the countries as well, but you are not expected to behave differently as Muslim in other parts of the country, for example. I guess this has been one of the problems when it comes to Southern Thailand, and one of actually the root causes of ongoing violence in the three provinces is about is about one thing at least is about forced assimilation, of the to the national Thai identity. Of course, when you were born Malay, when you were born Muslim, definitely you want to keep your own identity. When you speak one language, of course you will be accepting to speak another language, but you still want to keep your own language, which is part of identity. Language is so important, and I think one of the things that many nation states have been doing, not only Thailand, but also some other countries, maybe including Norway itself, which is about making sure that those people will not remain different. Language through education it has been used as a tool for assimilation. Yeah, introducing the case of Thailand, introducing the Thai language everywhere. Children are not allowed to speak any other language or accent in the school. You're obliged to speak exactly the same way. That's what the central power has been wanting always. And I guess Thailand is not unique in many sense. Where we heard, for example, Norway was doing that as well with other ethnic groups, indigenous, Sami, for example. Yeah, so they were, they were obliged to learn and to speak Norwegian rather than their own language at school. This kind of strategies, this kind of policy has been applied throughout. When I say throughout, at least in the case of South Asia, maybe with a few exceptions that we heard. For example, in the case of Singapore, of course, Singapore is quite accommodative. That the working language is English, so children will be learning English at school. You might notice that Singaporeans usually speak very good English. But then when it comes to second language, you are actually, there are 4 different, races or groups in Singapore. You got, for example, Malay, Chinese, Indian, and of course the second language that allow you to learn. The language which is correspondent with your race. If you are racial Chinese, then you are expected to learn Chinese. If you are, Malay, you are expected to learn Malay. You cannot choose to learn any other language if you want to. Why so? But this is I think one question that you could look at as well. Another country that I think quite interesting to look at is actually Myanmar, in Southeast Asia, of course. In Myanmar, of course, the language that people use in general is Myanmar, Burmese in the past. But then, in different states, you got different ethnic groups. In Chan state, people speak their own language. In Rakhine state, some groups of people, for example, Rohingya, they speak their own language, which is totally different from Burmese. And many of them, like, Malay, Thai, Malay, in the 3 provinces of Thailand, they speak Malay language. And Rohingya, they speak Rohingya, which is different from Burmese in general, Burmese language in general. Not only they speak different language, their appearance is completely different from my point of view. Of course, I meet many of them, and they are different from the Burmese in general. So appearance is also different, religiously different, because they are Muslim. So you are already different in many ways from the mainstream Burmese. With the differences, I talk about politics of difference. With differences, you are not actually, because of this difference, you are not accepted as such. What does it mean when you are not accepted as such? Either you are assimilated or you are completely excluded if you refuse to be assimilated. And I guess that's what has been happening, in South Asia, in some particular societies. The practice of exclusion is so widespread in many societies. And this exclusion is based on, as I mentioned, on language, on religion, on race, and it's more or less everywhere. Although I talk about South Asia, where I come from, but I guess this kind of strategies, policies has been applied throughout. And that's based on the concept that I start with at the very beginning, that the nation state in itself is inherently exclusive.